What's going on with President Trump and Venezuela now? This is a headline from Times Now from 2 hours ago. It says $50 million bounty on head. Venezuela's Maduro dares Trump, accuses Rubio of bloodbath. Why are we dragging Marco Rubio into this? And why is he accusing Rubio of bloodbath? I can't read that news article. I can only read the headline here. So I can't go in and see what he's saying about, I'm guessing it's the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Well, yes, that's who it is. Marco Rubio. Is this why I'm being asked to do this message? Is this why I'm getting that the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio is waiting to hear from me on this? Because he's being dragged into this for some reason. Winston Churchill's spirit is here with me with a message for the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Arcturians and Commander Ashtar and Jupiter Command and the Archangels and, of course, God. All of us are here for you, Marco. Okay, I have to check the news first here so I can have an idea of what's going on here with this situation now with Venezuela and President Trump. This is from CNN. Trump claims Venezuela's Maduro is a drug trafficking threat to the US. From The Guardian, Trump's Venezuela gunboat diplomacy. Your days are seriously numbered, Trump's former national security advisor Michael Flynn proclaimed, urging Maduro to buy a one-way ticket. What else is here from the BBC? U.S. offers $50 million reward or $50 million reward for arrest of Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro. The U.S. has doubled a reward for information leading to the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to $50 million. Maduro warns of bloody threat as Trump deploys. Was that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro warned Monday he would declare a republic in arms if U.S. forces in the Caribbean attacked his country. That's from Newsweek from 14 hours ago. Financial Times. Is Trump's mission in Venezuela to fight drugs or to topple its leader? Tug of war over Trump's Venezuela policy leaves investors guessing. Venezuelans call for Trump to invade? That's from the Telegraph. Venezuelans opposed to Nicolas Maduro are urging Donald Trump to invade their country and topple the left-wing president. What? I see. From Al Jazeera, 12 hours ago. Venezuela's Maduro says no way US can invade as Trump deploys naval force. US warships head to Venezuela. fight against cartels or imperial. I don't know if I can go into that news article either. Right, so that's what's going on with US President Trump and Venezuela and the Venezuelan president right now. Well, okay. From CBS News, Maduro vows to declare a republic in arms if US forces attack. 12 hours ago, Maduro on Monday, however, warned that US military action against Venezuela would stain Mr. Trump's hands with blood. Oh, so is he accusing Donald Trump of a bloodbath? So then why is Marco Rubio being dragged in? Can I go into this news article? No, I can't really read that news article either. There's war tension going on between President Trump and Venezuela and the Venezuelan president Maduro. Yes. This is what I'm getting from Churchill right now. There's warmongering going on between President Trump and President Maduro of Venezuela, and that President Trump does want to attack Venezuela. President Trump wants to attack Venezuela. And you see, I keep getting the devil Baphomet with President Trump now too. It's like, and I'm not really going into it too much, although I have mentioned it once or twice before here, even with President Putin and Prime Minister Netanyahu and with President Trump, because, I mean, I'm talking to politicians here, I'm talking to world leaders here, and I don't know, who is into what in terms of religion and or spirituality, and I don't even know if you world leaders are even gonna believe me when I start talking about Baphomet, the devil Baphomet, and what he's doing to President Trump right now, and how he's trying to take over, or he is taking over President Trump, or at least taking over President Trump's mind, because I've already said this in a previous video that the devil Baphomet is controlling President Trump's mind. President Trump is under mind control by the devil Baphomet. And I also mentioned by the rogue elements in the CIA as well. And of course, MK Ultra was coming up, in that previous message as well, when it comes to the CIA. And MK Ultra is a mind control program connected to the CIA. But anyway, it's right now, I keep getting the devil Baphomet more and more with President Trump. And, well, you can see what Prime Minister Netanyahu has been doing. And you can see what President Putin has been doing. And now the devil Baphomet wants President Trump to do the same, to start more wars instead of stopping them, because that's what President Trump said or claimed during his election campaign, that he will stop the wars. But now look at him, because I'm getting that the devil Baphomet is taking over President Trump and President Trump's mind. Baphomet is controlling President Trump's mind. President Trump is under Baphomet's control, or at least President Trump's mind is under Baphomet's control. And he may not know it because he's not spiritually awake like I am. And he's certainly not a prophet and a messenger of God like I am. So, you know, what would he know about these kind of spiritual things? I'm talking about President Trump. What would he know about these kind of deep spiritual things? Even though he is being controlled by the devil Baphomet. Whether he knows it or not. I'm getting he doesn't. So, but is that an excuse? Because the devil only uses the ones who are already corrupt and weak spiritually, but also in a human sense too. And that's who the devil uses to start wars, to cause killing and chaos and destruction on a large scale that only wars between countries can cause. That kind of large scale killing, chaos, and destruction. And that's what the devil Baphomet wants. And that's why we see what is going on in our world with all these wars, especially the ones that I've mentioned: Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Putin, and now the devil Baphomet is taking over President Trump to make him start more wars too. This is why prophets and messengers like me exist. And this is why we're here. Because we can see the unseen. Because we know what's going on a spiritual level that other humans cannot see, are not aware of. And some don't even believe that that kind of thing even exists. You know, for example, scientists and atheists. Now, obviously, President Trump needs spiritual help, but is he gonna get it? His health seems to be falling apart even more. He's having heart issues because he will not stop with all this warmongering, and because he will not sit down and stop with all this warmongering that the devil Baphomet is causing him to do. It's like I'm trying to find my words here because, you know, it's so easy for people to say, oh, the devil made me do it. But how? Why? How did the devil even come in to the picture? Because these people that the devil goes for, they are corrupt and they are weak. And that's the only reason the devil can take a hold of them and their mind and mind control them, like President Trump, like Prime Minister Netanyahu, like President Putin. They are doing the devil's bidding, whether they know it or not, whether they realize it or not. And they are being the devil's puppets. This is why people like me, God's real and true prophets and messengers, are needed here on planet Earth. But hey, who's believing me, right? And everyone's thinking I'm crazy because they don't know about the subtle reality of the spirit, the unseen, the non-physical. And because people can't see something with their human eyes, they'll just deny it. I can't see it. It doesn't exist. When in reality, whether you can see it or not, spirit, energy, the unseen, the non-physical does exist. Can you see air? Can you see gravity? We cannot see air. We cannot see gravity. We cannot see air, until it turns into wind, and then, we see the tree branches swaying and moving with that wind, and then maybe we can see it a little, and then we are like, oh yeah, right, that's wind, that's air, that exists. But we cannot see gravity. But gravity exists too. Even science says gravity exists. But we cannot see it, right? But it still exists, right? This is why prophets and messengers like me are needed. But hey, who's paying attention to me? Who's believing me? Who's coming in to ask me for help with even spiritual matters? Because this is all now interconnected. This is not just about politics anymore. Because the spiritual angle, the unseen angle is coming into it. And whether, anyone wants to deny it or whatever, because you are politicians and world leaders and you probably don't even want to think about the spiritual angle of things and the spiritual side of things and the unseen and, and all that. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and that doesn't mean that it's not playing a part in what's going on in world politics right now, especially with all these wars and these world leaders being used by the devil, Baphomet in particular, to start these wars, to cause these wars, to cause and to start more and more wars and bloodshed and killing of innocent human beings and more chaos and more destruction on this planet. But none of you wants to come in and ask me for help, right? Even when I keep offering my help, God's help, the galactic's help, the universe's help. But you're still refusing to take it. Why? Because it's a woman sitting here? Why? Because I'm a woman? Is it a gender issue? And so you don't want to, you men, especially you men in power, politicians and world leaders, you don't want to take me seriously because I'm a woman. Or you don't want to take me seriously because you think I'm crazy because I'm talking about all this, I don't know, woo-woo, spiritual stuff. I don't understand. You guys need help. And I'm the only one who can help you with politics and the spiritual side of things simultaneously. I can do both. I can help you with both. Because I'm connected to God, the universe. I'm connected to the galactics. I'm connected to the all there is. But you don't want my help, right? And you don't want God's help. You don't want the universe's help, right? And you don't want any kind of spiritual help, right? So I don't know why I keep being guided to and why I keep being asked to keep doing these messages for you. I don't understand. At this point, I don't even know why I'm doing this work. Anyway, bottom line, The spirit of Winston Churchill, the Arcturians, and Commander Ashtar, and God, and the archangels, especially Archangel Michael, they're saying that President Trump wants to attack Venezuela, that President Trump does want to attack Venezuela. So that's the bottom line. That's the message that's coming through here right now. And I'm being asked to just leave this message here for now. So take care, stay safe, over and out.